Audible C notes.
Hey, hey, yeah. I got this one chick on the side.
Welcome back to my channel, Never Not Manifesting, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about my personal experience with home buying, and then I had some of my subscribers send me in some questions and I will do my best to answer them for you. As you guys know, I just recently purchased a home back in July. And my house is pretty much almost done, fully furnished, and I've had such a joy being able to decorate and design this place to just my own type of vibe. So stay tuned for a video of me doing a home tour of just how I designed this place, and I kind of dabbed in some interior design, something I've never done before, and I've been loving it. It's been a little passion project of mine during this pandemic. But yeah, I wanted to kind of let you guys know about how feasible and intangible it is to be able to purchase properties and have assets, and that is something I want to start featuring on my channel, is being able to share the knowledge that I have been able to attain and learn through this whole process and just through my own research. And so yeah, here is my story behind purchasing a home. But before I get started on that, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Never Not Manifesting, my Instagram at Never Not Manifesting, as well as my website, NeverNotManifesting.com, to my home buying process. So let's just start off with the whole topic of renting versus buying. And if we're gonna be honest, when I was looking for a new place, because my lease was almost up with my apartment, and as I was thinking, like, do I want to rent again or do I want to buy? Honestly, buying was not on my radar at all. I really, wanted to have at least one time where I was able to live in like a huge high rise, and I prayed on it. And when I started looking at apartments, I was realizing that the prices were increasing. Like, I was paying probably $500 to $800 more with my first apartment, and I was just thinking, for my standards and what I really wanted from an apartment was going to be way out of my price range. I didn't want all of my checks going towards rent. So with that being said, God did place on my heart, look into property. And I didn't put too much thought into it because I just, didn't think that was something tangible. And I felt like it was a lot of work for me to be able to buy a house. It just seemed so grown to do something like that, and it was a little intimidating. But after doing some research, I really kind of discovered that, one, a lot of times, more times than none, mortgages are cheaper than rent. And you get way more bang for your buck. So a good way to think about it is, when you're renting, you're paying etc. a month, and prices range depending on the location you're at. Out on the West Coast, rent ranges from $1,500 to, I've seen crazy prices like $4,000 a month. It's absolutely crazy. And so I started looking into houses and doing those like calculators, and I was noticing that with depending on the percentage you put down, rent, you could definitely be paying way less than you would be paying for rent. Or you might be paying more, or you could be paying the same, but the difference between renting and owning is you can look at what you're paying a month, it's still going towards your own pockets. So you always have a return on investment. The thing with land and properties is it's appreciating, which means that it's increasing in value as the years go on. So you can buy something that was valued at $150,000, and then 20 years from now it could be valued at $850,000. And so what you earned between the time you bought versus 10 years from now or 20 years from now has grown exponentially. So the money that you're putting into your home a month, like you would be doing rent, is going back to you, versus with rent, it's going back to whoever owns that apartment complex. So that apartment complex, whoever owns that apartment complex, they also own that building. They're doing the same thing as owning something, but instead they're charging people to pay off their mortgage or whatever they pay a month on that property, and they are getting the benefits of the appreciating asset versus you just kind of borrowing from them. When I realized that, I said, when you add up how much you pay annually on rent, it's as much as a down payment on the home. Truly, it is. And, you know, people don't understand that there's so much opportunity with purchasing a home, just fiscally, that this is the definition of making money in your sleep. Because while I sleep, my home property has already increased by like 10,000, and I've had it for 2 months. So I can only imagine where it would go years from now. So that's when I decided I think I'm gonna buy out here, because rent is just getting higher and higher. So that is why I personally chose buying and getting into the process of buying. So I had a mutual friend that recently purchased a home herself, and then my best friend is also a realtor. I've talked to her about what are things that make a good realtor. And talking to the person who just purchased a home out here, I kind of had to connect, and I sat down and talked with my old realtor, asked questions as far as, will you take care of me? Will you find me a good deal? What is your negotiation skills? Negotiation skills are major key. You know, a good realtor will make sure you never buy something at market price. And you'll get a lot of, you know, good add-ons and stuff like that. So making sure they're good, persuasive, and have good negotiation skills is major key. And then also they just always want the best for the client versus the best for themselves. So that's important to, I'll say the main things to look for in a realtor is their persuasion and negotiation skills, as well as their character. And I also think just organization, professionalism is also things you want to take into account when you're making such a big purchase, a long-term purchase, and trusting somebody that help execute that for you. So once finding a realtor, the next step is the pre-approval process. And the pre-approval process is basically not the official loan, but it's like from that lender that you'll use saying that I approve them so far from the paperwork I've sent. So you'll have to send in some pay stubs, send in your credit score to help to do that, look at your bank account and assets, and from that you'll get pre-approved. Pretty simple to get pre-approved, especially if you have been working on your credit score and making sure it's acceptable enough to make such a big purchase. So once getting pre-approved, it was the fun part, which is looking for a home. And I looked for a home for about a month and a half. And one thing about the real estate market I was looking in is that it is extremely competitive. So my realtor found the house I'm in currently before it hit the listing market, and already like 3 people were looking at it, and it hadn't even been listed yet. And she was telling me, look, if this is the home you want, you don't really have time to be on the fence. If you know in your spirit this is the house you want, and it checks all 3 non-negotiables. My non-negotiables was parking, 3 bedrooms, and two baths. That was my non-negotiables. It needed to have all of that, and it did. And then it also was just super cute, and I said, I'm putting an offer in. And after looking at it within an hour, I had put an offer in. And once you put an offer in a home that you're confident in and can see yourself living in, then it goes into, you're in contract with, for me, I was in contract with the builder. You put in your escrow, and once you put in your escrow, you get that escrow sit until you close. And within the closing period, there's a lot of contingencies, contractual contingencies that both the builder has to, or builder or seller has to complete before closing. And so the house I purchased was not complete yet. It still had some minor things to finish up. So once those contingencies were done, I was able to get an inspection. The inspection passed, and once the inspection came, it came down to getting my loan officially approved with the loan company, and then the lenders came in and I signed some papers, and then I was officially ready to close on the home. Fast forward a month later, from June to mid-July, I got my keys to my house. It is now September, and I'm loving my purchase. So that was my experience and future plans that I have with this property. As of right now, this is kind of my safe zone. I'm able to create here, I'm able to focus, I'm able to work. But once, you know, the Lord leads me to a new chapter in my life, what I plan on doing with this property is, you know, the options are limitless. I could rent it out to people who are moving out here, or I could Airbnb it out as a vacation rental. That is how I make passive income outside of my salary of what I make with work and other side hustles. This is also another side hustle I can turn into where I can make money off of, and then they'll pay my mortgage, and then I just collect whatever the difference is, as well as collecting the property value as it increases. Now I want to get into the fun part, which is questions and answers. First question I want to start off with: what is the best way to apply for a loan? The best way to apply for a loan is, once you solidify a realtor that you trust and are going to work with, have them refer you to one of the lenders that they use. Once you get those lenders, once they refer you to a handful of lenders, you personally interview them, get a feel of their vibe, get a feel of their company, get a feel of organizational skills, professionalism within the lending company, and if this is somebody you would trust with your money. And once you get that, pray on it too. Pray on everything you gotta do. Putting on the offer, finding a lender, closing, escrow, everything, pray on it, because people out here are also, as there's good, there's evil, and there are people that are manipulative and can try to trick you, and you just don't want to be deceived, especially when you're dealing with this amount of money and this big of a purchase. So pray on the loan lender company you want to go to. But once you solidify the lender, you then apply for the loan. And if you've already been pre-approved by that same lending company, it's pretty much easy as cake at getting, because they already have your paperwork, and they just rerun your credit score again, I believe. And then after that, they approve you. But if you've been pre-approved by that lending company, you're 10 times out of 10 going to be approved. Secondly, how long would you suggest saving for a down payment realistically for a young adult starting work? So the down payment is tricky because it ranges based on the area you live in. A property in California is going to be way more than a property in Texas, just because property value is so drastically different in different locations within America. So what I would say is, for my salary subscribers and salary followers, I would always say those bonuses you get every year, rewards you get once a year, when you get that lump sum of money, I always say 75, especially if you're very serious about buying a home, 75% of it should be going towards your down payment, which should cover a good bulk of it, as well as every month your check, have a certain percentage of your check going toward the savings account that's going strictly to down payment on a home. Once you have reached the goal of what you want to save, then you now have a price range of where you're pre-approved at, and once you tell the lenders your down payment money, this is what I'm putting down, you get a good idea of what is in your price range as far as homes. So realistically, you have to know the location you're at, study the markets, study the property value, median property value in that neighborhood, so then you can get a good idea of how long I should be saving, or when's the best time, or what should be my budget and what should I work towards saving too. But just so you know, rule of thumb for home buyers, the normal is 20% of the home value, but it's a range. So first time home buyers, it can range from 3% to 6%. Sometimes they have 0 down, but I wouldn't suggest that because I don't know, I've just heard that's like weird. Like, you should put something down to get the best rate possible and the best package. Our first time home buyers, 6% down is normally the average of what a first time home buyer will put down. What is an appreciating asset? So an appreciating asset is basically something that you purchase that does not decline in value. So an appreciating asset is of course property, and is also artwork. That's also an appreciating asset that a lot of people don't know. I'm going to be talking about that in one of my other videos, but we're talking about real estate. But land, home, those are all appreciating assets because they're always going to increase in value over time, versus a car. Cars depreciate the minute you leave the lot, which is why it's always suggested to never purchase a brand new car off the lot, because the minute you drive it, it's already depreciated off the lot. So with that being said, appreciating assets is something that you heavily want to learn about and put a lot of your money towards, because that's how you create generational wealth for yourself and your family and just your bloodline, is being able to have assets that can be passed down and passed down while they're continuously increasing in value as the years pass. Pre-approvement. What's the best time to get pre-approved? The best time to get pre-approved for a loan is right before you're ready to actually start looking at homes. So you want to start looking at homes in December. You should start looking into getting pre-approved in November. It takes about, I'll say, no more than 5 days to get pre-approved. But once you get that letter of pre-approval, you have to go start looking at homes. And if you want to put an offer down on a house within that next week, you can, because you've already been pre-approved and all of that's nipped in the bud. And your pre-approval lasts, I believe, 30 to 60 days. So don't quote me on that, but I got pre-approved in June and I put an offer down in my house in July, and it was pretty quick because I was already pre-approved. So the best time is right before you're going to start looking at homes. How do realtors get paid? So realtors get paid the value of your home. So they get paid through commission. I believe they get paid between 2 to 3% of the value of the house. My realtor, I didn't have to pay her up front. Once I put an offer down on the house and I paid down payment, they got 2 to 3% of the value of the home. And so that is how realtors get paid. They get paid through commission. What is escrow? Escrow is an account that holds your money, about 1 to 2% of the money that is part of your down payment, but it's almost like a holding cost. So it's 1 to 2% of the value of the home holding in a third-party account as a mutual agreement of closing on a home. Like this is as of right now, this property is mine and no one can come in and take it or put in a better offer because I have money down in escrow and I'm under contract with them. So escrow is literally just a holding account of 1 to 2% of the money that you will be put down, and that will go towards your down payment when it's time to close. That was my process on the home buying process, and I highly suggest all of my people, and especially, you know, us young people in our 20s, to purchase a home or look into appreciating assets that speak to you. But you know, we want to create generational wealth, and we want to create comfort and money for ourselves and our families and our bloodlines, and that means being mature with our decision making as far as buying and how we spend our money. And if something about buying a home has been on your radar, it's easier than it sounds, and it sounds intimidating, it sounds like something for older people, but like honestly, it's the best thing ever. You don't have to worry about certain rules and stuff. Like, it's your place, it's your property, it's something that you can take pride in, and it increases your net worth, which is also, you know, I guess pretty cool. So yeah, if you have any more questions, you can DM me, email me, etc., and I will reach out to you as quickly as possible. And happy Wednesday.
I'm going slow on 65. Bye. I know the police, they got fines for me. My brother's with me.